Hi, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. I'm excited to honor my favorite of all Olympic sports, and that is ice dancing, during this electric quilt video tutorial. Okay, I've opened my Winter Games project and I'm going to select Design a Block from Scratch. And I'm going to select a new block pieced Easy Draw block. And I'm going to go to the Tracing Image tab and select Import Image and find my ice dance couple and select Open. And under Crop Image, I'll select OK. Now I will go to the Drawing Tools and I'm going to select Snap to Lines and Arcs as the only thing on to begin with. I will turn the Snap to Node on occasionally. And I'm going to make the block width and height 12 by 12 and the snaps 4 by 4 just to not have all of those snap points. And I don't want the graph paper cells on. So I'm going to start by creating the major sections for this quilt. My first line is going to align by the arms of the lady. And then for the top, I'm going to break that into 3 sections. And I'm just going to zoom in so I can see this a little bit better while I'm doing that. So here are my 3 different sections. Now for the bottom, I'm going to scroll down. Actually, I'm going to zoom back out. And for the bottom, I'm going to have one section here. And I can tell that that didn't quite match. So let me do an undo rather than moving it, because I'm trying to minimize any extra nodes. And so let me find where I want that. And then for the next section, I'm going to partition here and here. And then I need to break the women's legs right here because we have a pretty complicated skate that we have to draw. And once I've got all of my sectioning done, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the project sketchbook. And then I'm going to zoom in and start working on each of the sections. So I'll just start at the top. And remember that you always draw in foundation piecing from the outside in, and you must connect 2 lines or the outside of your patch. And I really try not to draw over lines unless I have a very specific reason for doing so. So you can sort of see that I'm working from my outside in. Now, it's very important on this that we don't go over this line and end up on the line below it. It's really easy to happen in these situations. And I'm even going to zoom in for that last piece. And once I've done that, I'll do a fit to work table, and I'm going to go ahead and add to the project sketchbook. And if I want to double check that this worked, I can also go to the print and export and do an export foundation pattern, and it is showing 2 sections, and most importantly it's not breaking up the section I just drew, so that tells me that that's good. And so I can close that and go back to the Draw tab. I'm going to zoom in for the next section and again work from my outside in. And I will add that to the project sketchbook as well. Zoom back and zoom in for the next section. And for this one, I'm just going to do 3 pieces. And I will add that to the project sketchbook. Now the reason that I continue to have a lot of these in my sketchbook is if one of these happens to blow up, I can always go back and look at a previous section and redraw from there. So let me take one more look at my print and export and my foundation, and it's doing the 3 sections the way I want. So I can go ahead and close that, go back to draw. Now for these 2 sections, I am going to break my one rule and I'm going to draw a line over both sections. And just remember that when I'm doing that, I am creating basically the last piece for both of those sections. Now I'm going to zoom in for the bottom. And I will say this skate was a little tricky to get everything lined up for that. And then I'm going to scroll up, and for the lady's arm, and then zoom out, and you can see where I'm going from the outside in. Now for this next piece, I actually want to connect with that node. So I'm going to turn on Snap to Node, and I still have Snap to Line on. I can connect up, and then I can turn off Snap to Node and zoom out. And I will add to Project Sketchbook, take another look at my foundation. Back to Draw. So I'm going to turn on Snap to Node for this particular line, and I'm going to do the same with that line. Now I'm going to turn off Snap to Node and draw the last two pieces for that section, and I will add to the Project Sketchbook, do a Fit to Work table, zoom in, turn on Snap to Node for this one, and then turn it off. I'll turn on for this one, and I'm going to zoom in for the last sections here. And I'll zoom back out and add to Project Sketchbook, do another Print Foundation, and I can go ahead and close that, go back to Draw, zoom in, and I've got the Snap to Node on, which I think I want for that one, and then I'm going to turn that off. And I think for that one I'm going to turn it back on and let that line up. So add to Sketchbook, Fit to Work table, and I have only one section left. And remember, this last piece is actually the last piece in that section, and I'm just going to work from the outside in. Zoom back out. I'm going to turn on Snap to Node so I can match that one. And then I have that division, Snap to Node on for this last one. And so I will go back to Print and Export, take a look at the foundation. And I'm not liking what it did here. So anyway, I am going to have to resection to get that cleaned up, because I really want that to be one section and that to be the other section. So I will select Start Over. And then I'll take a look at my numbering. And the biggest thing I like to do is check out what my first piece is and see if I agree with that. And I'm going to just change that one, change that one, and select Finish. And now I can go to my options. I can change it to a 6 by 6. I'm going to turn off print as many blocks that fit, and on my preview then I can move these segments. And so this is just my way of making sure that there's nothing that looks out of line on any of these. So that looks good. I can go ahead and close this, and now I'm actually going to go and color this. So once this is colored, I can add that to the project sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. For additional tips and techniques, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com. And while you're there, check out some of my additional electric quilt training opportunities.